Willow
Sure. Note away.
took Throwing Shade, the facet, which amplifies her Bedlam damage up to 30%.
Yep.
So it means that he doesn't want to play on control. He wants to be the DPS in the early game. So
Yep.
maybe Schofield is who is going to correct the
And 22
damage.
Savage took Chrono. He didn't go for time zone, which maybe could have been a way to annoy the Abaddon, where he can't cast his spells in the thing, but he went for Chrono. So a real void for game 3. What's this?
Casting a coil.
Yeah, true.
In the time zone.
It could have been kind of cool. All right. Let me try this.
Fun!
Wow, that is a battle cry if I've ever heard one. Suns fan here with Cinder, and thank you so much, Shiva. We have game number 3, and unfortunately, this means one team is going to go home, one region, in fact. It's either South America or Southeast Asia, but we got some spicy picks. Second pick, Void, second time that Void has been picked in this tournament, and first Abaddon pick. Oh my goodness, very spicy indeed. What do you think of, we can talk about Void and Abaddon in isolation in a bit.
Okay.
But talk about team compositions. Which lineup do you like more, if any?
Well, the thing that's kind of interesting about this one is that Heroic are kind of running back their game 1 draft, like the archetype of draft they ran, right? That they absolutely crushed Aurora with. It's double save. It was Omni Shadow Demon in game 1. This time it's Omni Abaddon. And in that game, we were also a bit concerned with, will they have enough damage? They were running a Storm mid in that game. Is he going to need too much time to ramp up? This time Puck maybe arguably a little bit faster. And then they just farmed up an absolutely ridiculous Dragon Knight in that game. Yep. So my question is, will Heroic be allowed to stack as much as they did in game 1? Because that's what I think they want to do. Their heroes are not as good at it as Shadow Demon was, but they still want to do it. Or will Aurora find a way to invade, in particular with this Visage last pick? You see a little bit of a fight break out here. Good shards from Hugh.
Yep, KJ stuck inside the shards, but they are in the cover of the tier 1, and Aurora not wanting to go any further. So game 1, for those that missed it, Heroic had 2 butlers, okay?
Yes.
Let's just take you all back here. 2 butlers for 2 cores. This time, they have the butler in the Omni Knight, but is the butler the position 3 Abaddon? Like, is that a thing?
Now that's my main question for this game. Is it seems to me that that's the mindset based on how they picked this, that they want Abaddon to be an additional layer of protection, but it doesn't work the same way Shadow Demon does. It's a shorter cast range. It is a core, like you said, so it's going to have different priorities in the game than just covering other people all the time. But when push comes to shove and you're looking for team fights, I definitely think a big part of their rationale behind the pick was to have a Photic Shield for their Dragon Knight.
Yeah.
And also to have an offlaner that it feels extremely bad to Chrono, right? This is just... It seems like they're trying to make 23's decision-making tree as small as possible. Or rather make it as hard as possible for him to find the right one. Puck is hard to Chrono. Dragon Knight feels tough to Chrono because he's very tanky. Abaddon has 2 lives. Willow can Shadow Realm. And your final option is Omni. So it's not particularly easy to use Chrono. However, he has a really good supporting cast around him. There's a lot of decent damage coming in from Phoenix, from Visage. Storm, as we've seen in this series, can already really open up the game. So I just find this game really interesting on a strategic level because it feels a little bit like a rerun of game 1 where both teams have had to deviate a little bit.
Yeah. And it's been a while since I've seen Abaddon. He takes this facet called the Mephitic Shroud, which means the shield, it will absorb more and it'll kind of reflect damage similar to like a blade mail, if I'm not mistaken, but it does not burst for damage.
Yep.
So how does that change how this hero is played?
It makes him tankier and make him deal less damage.
Okay, that was quicker than I thought. Usually going on some god-awful monologue.
I just said what the skill does.
Okay.
Just like you.
Thank you.
I mean, in all honesty, I think the blade mail aspect of it here is not particularly important. But just having a more powerful shield, just more barrier is very useful. If you keep in mind how barriers work together with damage reduction, barriers in general in this patch, the reason that we're seeing a lot of Solar Crest pipes, etc., is that you obviously, when you look at the math of reduction coming in first and then the barrier starts taking the damage, having a more powerful barrier, it's actually a ton of health that the shield gives, and it's such a low cooldown ability, 8 seconds on level 4. it's really good for sustain.
I'm really wondering what the build is going to be. Do you have anything in mind, or just wait and see? Like, he's not going to go like Radiance or anything, is he?
He
Because
honestly
that would be hilariously awesome.
could, but I think... So generally speaking, Korrabaddon has like 2 types of builds. There's the Aura build, and then there is one where you go Manta, right? I think in this game, I would like to see him get Solar Crest and Drums or something like that, and just really play into the way that they played Game 1, and relying on Aurora being unable to kill them, which was the exact problem they had Game 1, because Aurora, with the adjustments they have made, I'm still not fully sold on their DPS, actually. I think they're better in some types of fights, but not necessarily
KJ.
all of them. Good damage.
A ton of damage.
He's
And
dead.
a soul assumption. Ooh.
Just kidding. He's not dead at all.
Nice curse from Cinder and
He had
as
11
always.
health. That's a lot. He has to go back.
The
though.
shards this series have been really I mean, this tournament, I guess. I mean, Tusk as a hero has been insane. No difference there, forcing the support out of lane completely, at least for a little bit. Mid lane, Lornoff on the Storm Spirit, 23-4 versus Analog's Puck, 21-6. Fairly even.
Pretty standard. But as the panel was talking about, I mean, this is just an incredible puck game. I think if Heroic want to get top 8 at this tournament, Analog needs to play well in this game, but he can really set the narrative.
K1.
Jabs is
Really low as we have a dive in from Ollie coming in through the gate. KJ taking a blood grenade as well. Schofield trying to do as much damage as he can, but K1 dies first. KJ somehow survives.
so awkward.
So it'll be a trade.
I don't know if Ollie can get out of this.
Oh, mid lane, though, this will be a much more important kill. Analog can't finish the job, though. As Ollie having a battle for his life, KJ wins it.
Yeah. Curious to see what KJ does here.
Gonna deny himself, perhaps? Oh, he's
Visage,
and oh
jabs.
boy.
Hello.
Very nice play. And that's just a freak solo kill. Oh boy.
Oh man, this top lane is putting a smile on my face. These are some funny skirmishes. It reminds me of, you know, All Random, where you just end up with these hero pairings you don't see very often in the meta, and then you make do with what you can. Kind of funny.
That's disrespectful, Cinderin.
No, because I'm not saying, okay, don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying they don't know what they're picking. I'm saying the lane matchups and the rotations we're seeing is unlike any we've
Yeah,
had in
how like
It's
coming
pretty
into this
unique.
game when they're like laning against heroes you're maybe not used to laning against, has to have some sort of an effect. As Analog is level 6 now, so Coil at the ready.
Really, the hero to watch for me right now is going to be that puck, and also how Lornoff is going to adjust. He is slightly out-leveled by the puck, but nothing too alarming. It's mainly the 11 denies that Analog has that has put him in that position.
6-minute rune. It's a haste as KJ picks it up. Coil already broken by Ollie. He's going to try to get chased down. No, they're going to turn their sights onto Q instead. Nice pick off there from Heroic.
Lornoff gets a 6 now, so he is unlocked as a potential rotator. But when Storm ganks side lanes, it's very, very important for this hero to successfully get at least 1 kill, because you're expending so much of your farming on it. Other heroes rotating to the side lane. Oh, hang on, Devi. No bash.
Yep. He's
There it
in a lot of
is.
trouble.
He is
Has a photic
fine.
shield again, though, so that'll help him survive. Might have to walk all the way back to base, though.
Yeah, probably will. So when Storm ganks a side lane, it's really important for him to get a kill, because he expends so much of his farming capabilities, because he farms with mana to an extreme degree. But his side lane kill options are not great this game, so I really wonder how he's going to play it if Lornoff is just largely going to play static and just farm a lot of camps. Because on one side, he can choose between Dragon Knight Omni, which sounds really hard to gank, and on the other, it's a level 6 Abaddon. Like, good luck, you know? It's The options are really bad, but that doesn't mean his hero isn't good in this game. It just means you might have to take a greedier approach, get 1 to 2 damage items, and then really start picking up the pace. So we'll see if that's how he's going to end up handling this.
K1 continuing to get harassed by the soul assumption, but the purification brings him back to a respectable amount of HP. But you can see that the gank is incoming.
Yeah.
As Q on the
This
north
is a
side.
difficult kill.
Ollie
Puck
on the
has
south.
a TP as well. Always keep an eye out for that. Not the best mana right now on Analog, though. Burning a lot of it to farm it double stack in the jungle. Devi is laying into Savage. We haven't talked about this so much, but the Abaddon against Void matchup in lane is actually very nice for Abaddon if it's just a 1v1. You can just keep hitting the Void for free. You hit him twice, he kind of has to time walk away or he's going to get cursed. So as a result...
Well, the curse doesn't silence anymore.
It's still, the damage is really, it's meaningful that Abaddon can just stick on you.
I see.
So he's going to force you to yield, right? It's like the trade becomes so unfavorable so fast that you time walk away to not take unnecessary damage, and then Abaddon gets a couple of extra denies, which you can see is exactly what's happened. He's got 13 denies on the Abaddon. Void is still doing okay though, but definitely not the dream start.
I haven't seen a ton of Abaddon since I actually pronounced it correctly there by accident. My bad. Abaddon. Since they made these changes, specifically to Curse of Avernus, but it seems like he's a much better farmer in theory.
Yeah, my whole mindset about Manta might just be complete. He still does have it queued up. I was wondering if that's a thing anymore then without the silence, because that was just, you know, old knowledge. But considering he still has it queued up, I'm guessing it still is a possible build. He's eyeing up Echo Manta here, so not the auras, which used to be what Abaddons would buy with the silencing curse.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just still that good with applying all these attacks with the new curse as well.
And I assume Curse of Avernus still works on buildings, yes? Yeah, looks like it does. So against Egg should work as well as...
Dodging the shards.
Shards not going to be there. Bash is, though, as Lornoff making his way over. It's a 3v1. Borrow time activates. Dalai Lama at half HP. There's the first chrono of the game, 23 Savage. They want to finish off Dalai Lama, but he's got support in numbers. Analog comes in with the coil. Might have to retreat, though. And on the side, they're chasing down Schofield. He might be the only kill of this fight. Yep.
God, I hate that little runt.
It's a full 5-man rotation to kill a 4 Willow, and you used Chrono. And Hector did not have to rotate. So honestly, I'm going to chalk that up to a slight heroic win. These moments are really important for the side of Aurora, especially if they end up losing a Storm here. Doesn't look like it, though.
Yeah, Dalai Lama, no ult to work with this time. He's dead.
All right.
And KJ out of mana. Vortex back into the fray. He drops dead as well. Analog can't finish anybody off, so last couple minutes have been all Aurora.
They felt bad that Aurora didn't get the kills they went for, so they gave them a second chance. And this time around it worked. That was a fight that they chose, and I can understand why they wanted to poke and prod there onto the Storm, but they don't have the burst damage to fully finish him off, and effectively that just makes it wasted resources, and they compromise their position on their support. So they end up losing. Baden there as well. He's back to bottom immediately though.
Yeah.
Back to work.
I mean, despite that, from heroic side, they still have a very decently farming DK, and the top net worth in the game is the puck. Of course, K1 not off to the same type of start that he had because, well, the stacks, I mean, they are happening. The Ancients are being stacked right now, but...
They're on him again. Really?
Dalai Lama, triple teamed, has the borrowed time. Attempting to walk away. Nobody's really near him, but they'll let him go.
This doesn't feel like the best use of Storm's time, to be honest. But I guess with the 90-second cooldown on that ult, maybe this is a way of ensuring 23 some space. He has 60 CS to the 110 of Dragon Knight. So, you know, there's a little bit of ground to cover in that regard. That's also just the matchup. Like, Void will never have as much as the Dragon Knight with a Fire Facet if both heroes are farming, but it's a little bit of an alarming distance that they're generating between the two cores here. 1,000 just raw lane gold at this point.
Yep. He's about 800 from finishing Maelstrom, which will allow him to actually farm at a much better rate, but still, the DK, like you said, built into the hero now. The Hector just going ham in the jungle.
Yep. Time to farm the Ancients.
So it looks like he will be going S and Y again, as we're going to see a big Ancient stack taken out. And then into the eventual BKB. With, of course, the Butler following him around at that stage. Although, I guess Repel on Puck, it's not as good as Storm Spear, but it's still pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's still nice. I mean, you're not completely safe because of Chrono and Punch, but it still gives you some freedom in the fights that you might otherwise not have, especially against the Storm Orchid. I think that's the biggest deal here.
Is he going Orchid this time? Yeah, looks like it.
Top tower will be sieged. Classic Visage stuff here. Aurora are bringing multiple heroes, and Heroic say, enjoy, we are hitting jungle.
Yep, drums are popped to help expedite the process here.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
And Divine Llama, the Echo Saber will be the first item for him, so... I mean, again, it's almost as if nothing has changed on the hero, right? Because Echo Saber, Manta, they were, like for core Abaddon, were pretty normal, because you get the silence really fast. But now, you get the attack speed buff with your team, which, I mean, I guess it's the same as the old one, but instead of the silence, you get attack speed. Or sorry, you get damage over time.
Yeah, do these fully stack with the... Like, what does the Manta technically do?
Top tower is under attack.
That's for you to answer, Cinder.
I don't know if like individual Abaddon clones offer a stacking DPS.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because with the other one, it was obvious. Like every time an illusion hit, you increase the counter on the silence by 1.
Yeah, true. By Llama, he's initiated on. They're trying to burn his ult. They do so. Can they follow it up, though? Is Analog making his way over the bramble there with the coil? But the egg on the Chronosphere, they only clip the puck who gets repelled. He's fine. Egg does detonate. Schofield, he's going to get caught in the river. Still, Aurora using a lot just for a Dark Willow, although Analog, okay, he's going to be safe thanks to the Aphotic Shield. So many ways to give this puck some sort of a shield to live.
Yeah. This really is it really is game 1 all over again, just with a couple of tweaks that make a very big difference. This time around, Aurora can actually find at least 1 kill every time they initiate. But at the same time, is it enough when you're spending this many resources and Dragon Knight just isn't showing up?
Oh, Devi.
He's dead.
Most likely, no ult this time.
But fine.
Tower is under attack.
High ground ward made that a very easy kill for them. Heroic are looking for a move of their own, anticipating that Faceless Void will be farming in the triangle, but not the case. They'll find Q.
Yep, Snowball
Falling
onto the creep. High ground he comes. Falls shortly after. Although, the Orchid being revealed, Lorenoff will be able to get a trade of sorts. Gets the Electric Vortex onto the puck, who's very, very low now. Will be with the Waning Rift away. Uses the coil to try to run, but it's not to be. Jabs gets credit for that one, so a huge response from Aurora.
Yep. Looking much better for them than game number 1. They have the 2nd and 3rd net worth hero. They have incredible late game team fighting with Void plus Phoenix combined. Have arguably what I think is now going to be the most sought after support in every game, and the Tusk still... I guess the Faceless Void is not the best drinking buddy, but it's not bad because Void does buy attack speed. So getting that extra 95 damage from the drinking buddies can really make the difference in a chrono, whether you kill or not.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'll take that.
While all this is happening, K1 still top farmer in the game.
This time he's queuing up Orchid. He's changed it. He was thinking about Orchid on the Dragon Knight, but he will be going for BKB into Daedalus most likely. But will choose to buy the BKB.
Yeah.
So probably expecting Omni to have to repel the puck mainly. There's a pipe for Visage, so... Aurora Roche is a possibility, of course.
I think he went for the same build game 1, did he not? I think he went BKB right after SNY.
Maybe he did.
Because the repel was mostly for the Storm in that game.
Yeah. And I think it's similar logic here. They want to put it on the puck, and he also wants to not be fully dependent on the Omni. It's fine.
Just a few minutes away from his BKB. We'll see if they want to align that with some sort of smoke gank at that time. As yeah, Jabs is starting to get pretty beefy. Has the drums and the pipe. 2 aura items completed. What is his quest this game? How many auras does he need?
How about 4?
Does this, I mean, does it look like a Crimson game to you?
Nah.
A lot of magic damage. More stacks taken out by Aurora. Not nearly as much from both respective teams versus the game one.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I mean, for Devi, by the way, just the Manta, just to dispel is actually incredible.
Nice reaction there.
Yeah. Gets off the Shadow Realm in time.
See if this cost Jabs a bird or not. It's like no.
Invisibility.
And Puck now has Yules, so has her own solution.
Oh.
Excuse me, its own solution against the Storm Orchid. So now neither Puck nor Dragon Knight fully reliant on King J. That's a combo between KJ and King Jungles. Interesting. Rain
it
works
up.
in wondrous ways. There goes mid tower. No defense mounted by Heroic.
Oh, we got a coil onto the Void. It's going to be a close one. Oh, he does get taken out. Devi Llama gets credit for it. Much needed kill here from Heroic.
Oh, Aurora want to fight?
They sure do. Orchid onto the Dark Willow, but the Aphotic Shield is there to help save her. And now Jabs in such an awful spot, completely surrounded. And you're right. Why would they want to fight in that scenario?
I do not understand that fight selection. You just lost your carry, and the enemy team showed a major willingness to rotate to that area, effectively just bleeding out an additional core hero for what I would say is, you want to do a risk-reward drawing of that one?
Radiant's top tower.
I don't know where I'm going with this. It's a very bad drawing.
All right,
Done.
good one, Cinderette.
Yep, thank you very much.
Keep
Here
up
goes
the good
tier 1
work.
top tower. Devi Llama trying to attack, but it's very difficult when you're burning, just
Yeah.
like in real life.
God, you're so stupid.
Radiant's top tower.
And I live
is
for
under
it.
attack.
5K lead for Heroic. At what point do you think they're going to want to go for Roche? Because I assume the Abaddon's still pretty decent to help his team attack fast in that scenario, right?
Radiant
Yeah, both teams can definitely go for
Radiant's
hang
middle
on.
tower is under attack.
Storm Zip, just getting the rune. Okay, so haste on Storm. Maybe looking for an opening. Abaddon is once again just not
Log
his target.
initiated
This is
on there.
a better one, though.
Chronosphere on top as well. That should be enough damage. Indeed, it is.
All right, big kill. I thought for a moment they were angling for Devi Llama on the top side, which would have been pretty poor, but that
Yeah,
kills
not that the Aphotic shot. Did he get it off? I guess he did before.
onto Puck.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
He didn't make it.
Oh, I see.
He wasn't in.
I mean, the range of that spell is not particularly good anyway.
Yeah, 550. It's not the best. But yeah, I feel like Roche is going to be a major point of contention for both teams because both teams are very capable of taking it. One side has Visage and Drinking Buddies, the other one with the Abaddon plus a very farmed Dragon Knight. I mean, Hector has 300 CS minute 20. I was pointing out when we were talking post-game in game 1, how I think he had 475 CS in 27.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you were like, that might be a record. And I think that is the best a Dragon Knight, the number of CS, the highest ever at that point for a Dragon Knight. Wonder if he can beat that record this game.
Yeah, it's pretty absurd.
Ridiculous numbers.
Well, Roche will likely be completely uncontested, so Heroic will
No
get
chrono,
this.
so.
And the game does feel eerily similar to game number 1.
It's better for Aurora.
It is better, but this Dragon Knight is the same.
The Dragon Knight is a problem, and you're still... I mean, the gold lead is I mean, first game they got 2 kills, right? Until the very end. So this time around, they've definitely been successful with more moves, but the issue that their lineup has is it seems that in order for them to find a kill, they have to chrono. So later down the line, if you're not going to get Roches, the Dragon Knight is going to start sieging with a potential Aegis. This one is on the Puck, but how are you going to find and break open a fight correctly where you can actually capitalize on it instead of just chronoing one guy, maybe he dies, maybe he gets saved, he either has Aegis or buys back, and then here we go again, right? Like, do you have enough in the tank? Is Visage going to offer enough damage? Can the Storm solo kill heroes? It doesn't look likely right now, but maybe Tusk Ags could be the key once again. Q is working on it now. Break up the fight by just repositioning someone.
It does feel like Troll is more susceptible to that type of kiting than a Dragon Knight, for example, but
Oh yeah.
as Schofield, better be careful. Hector doesn't care at
He tried
all.
his best to kill him.
Yeah, he really did.
He said, "You're not one of my butlers, and if you were, your means to an end."
Schofield gets the shard here, so the Cursed Crown will apply the brambles on exit. The Tusk, Mr. Hugh, got the shard side of Aurora.
We'll help him farm.
Dire's middle tower is under
He can get his Ags easier.
Yeah, this time not opting for the BKB before the Ags. K1 and Lorenoff, neither are really too bothered by each other. We have a TP out, so Analog's not going to find anybody on the outskirts. Devi,
Radiant's bottom
the Manta
tower
getting
is under
close. Yeah, just the recipe away right now. And we'll be going for the Harpoon after the fact to upgrade the Echo Saber. Gives him a little bit of extra mobility in these fights.
This reminds me, this strat actually kind of reminds me of a strat that Melk used to call it the Knight strat that they had, which was Dragon Knight, Omni Knight, and then they had Shen. In Dota 1, he was called Holy Knight. And this is a little bit similar, just that the Holy Knight is now the Unholy Knight with a Baden. But the logic is pretty similar, and that strategy was very successful. I think it might have been MYM back then that were playing it. About, let's say about 20 years ago. And it's still Dota, so nothing has changed.
Yep,
as we all know,
exactly
it's the same game. It's funny how random things can remind you of something like that. I have not talked to Melk in a long time.
Yeah, use this as
But
an
I'm sure he's
opportunity to
watching.
talk
He
to him.
loves Dota.
23 Savage. Time of the Tier 1 tower almost dead.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Heroic are just going to finish it off.
Radiant's middle tower
Easy
is
tower.
falling.
They still look very comfortable. I think the main thing in this game is we can obviously see the graphs and the gold distribution or whatever, but you can also tell like the attitude of the players in the game, right? The way they're moving around the map. Hector is playing with insane confidence. He feels like nothing can stop him. Aurora are playing quite tight together and seem a little bit more timid, and it's just the state of the game, right? You can just tell what the communication is without hearing it.
Yeah, it's also an elimination game. So.
Yep, for sure.
K1 doesn't know that though, obviously.
No.
He plays the same way every game, which is why he's so awesome to watch.
K1 hears it's an elimination game. He's like, great. Where do I eliminate someone?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Fortification pop, but the tier 2 is still melted through for Heroic. They have a minute on the Aegis. Not like most of how can they get better value out of this? Is this enough for them? It's only one tier 2 so far.
they're gonna get more, and they'll just keep going. Once again, I don't know if the Radiant are actually capable of killing Dragon Knight right now. But, all right, they won't finish off mid with him. Looks like Puck will poke it. Maybe they think they can get it without using the Dragon Knight, or K1 was like, guys, if I go and hit this tower for 5 seconds, I'm missing 3 CS. So I'm going to TP bot.
Yeah, gotta go for the record.
And he is behind his record from last game. It was 27:30. I believe he had 475. So he needs to get 80 CS in a minute and a half.
Okay.
Which would be quite incredible. Or I remembered incorrectly, which is of course impossible.
Yeah, we are all old.
So don't think he will beat his record this time.
That is a big... Jab's getting an AC. That is a gigantic item. More auras.
Only 400 CS minute 26. My +1.
Is under attack.
Because he doesn't have the 2 traditional butlers, you know?
He doesn't have Shadow Demon this game.
Yeah.
Stacking for him.
The Abaddon is kind of like a substitute teacher. He's kind of making sure he doesn't get fired, so he does just the bare minimum, but he's not truly devoted, you know?
Radiant
To the
Exactly the
Dragon.
attire I would expect my substitute
23
teacher.
Savage with the Chrono. Okay, the Dragon Knight actually runs into it. They have the Sunray on top of him doing a decent amount of damage, but the Repel basically mitigating everything after the fact. The egg blows up as well, and Aurora kind of out of steam, and Heroic have basically used nothing.
They popped everything and they got him to half without Abaddon being near. So that could have been even worse.
They get the little gargoyles as well, and now the tier 2 looks to be next, and likely completely uncontested. As K1 Hector, again, masterclass Dragon Knight performance. Can they stop him?
Okay, he's
Onto the
in there.
high ground.
Sunray is quite scary.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
it is. He gets punched onto the high ground. Will pop his BKB.
Oh, 2 birds.
Takes out
Little
more
snack.
gargoyles.
Well,
Yeah,
they
go
forced
back
his
away.
BKB and they forced him out. Next time he's coming back with a satanic. All right, guys, I'm not strong enough yet. So
Yeah.
he's going to go and kill his family in the jungle. And he will get a tier 3 token from them as a...
I'm sure they're distant
of gratitude.
cousins, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really count.
It's all right.
He is one of the most efficient farmers in the world, showing it here. I mean, we haven't talked much about Aurora and their capabilities late game. Obviously, 23 Savage a bit, I mean, it's 9k difference right now between. Okay, but Faceless Void is disgusting late game.
Yep, but he does have the classic Achilles heel of until you get super late, he generally doesn't create the kills himself. So he's an awesome setup for a lot of ranged backup from other heroes, but the problem in this type of game is if the guy who's offering himself up to be chronoed is one beefy boy that you kind of can't get through, even with the addition of your allies, you're relying on flanks. Like at this point, I think Aurora have to find a way to hit the backline. Opening up on Dragon Knight is a losing strategy, and this is...
All right,
Heroic are going to keep doing this. So
is done.
they need to get in from the side and the back. Find the Willow, find the Omni. Get something started. Sunray is good, but it has the Satanic.
They don't have creeps now, so
Doesn't
the
even
back
need
door
it.
will kick in a little bit, but he's going to apply some pressure to the range racks. Going to get vortexed in. Brambles is forced. That's something. This is just a lane of racks.
I mean,
There's
this
no way
is-
around it. Heroic in the driver's seat.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
5.5 minutes faster.
It's like
average.
one team is just playing with cheat codes.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing this multiplayer game with your friend. You're like, oh, this is a fun game, and then you're playing Civilization, and then he just has tactical nukes in the Bronze Age. You know, that's what this feels like to me. This dragon doesn't belong in this game. Everyone else is like together. You know, oh, Puck and Void and Storm are kind of holding hands at 15k, and then this dragon just shows up. It's like he is the net worth lead.
Yeah.
It's DK. He's
Yep.
all 10k. What? Oh my god. 500 CS quickly approaching at minute 30.
He's not stopping.
Dire's middle tower is under
I guess this is what happens when you give Dragon Knight a cleave when in melee form. He was all about using that ultimate. Now it doesn't really slow him down that much being melee, at least for farming capabilities, and he has ult in 7 seconds to siege for lane number 2. He's gonna get
he's been
punched
too
in the
cocky
air.
here.
There's the Chronosphere. KJ trying to apply something to him. They actually, will they get him? The Guardian Angels killed alive. And now the Terrorizer, the Satanic being used to get him back to half HP. The Vailama is pretty deep. Will have to use his ult. Another punch into the air, but after all of that, Aurora still technically get nothing. It was close.
Oh, they're trying now.
Lorne off. He's going to get silenced by the Waning Rift. Dragon Tail to follow, but the Snowball is going to keep him alive a little bit longer. 23 Savage trying to take out K1. He's going to get some help with the drinking buddies. Hector getting really low. They finally take him out, but it cost them 3 of their own heroes. And now Analog trying to take out Lauren off, but with those 2 buybacks, Heroic will fall back.
All right. I really hope we get a replay of that first go on the Dragon Knight. He was completely alone. Like, he had no help.
Yeah.
He tanked the entire chrono, and then he got GA'd and repelled on 10% and just lived. Like, imagine if backup is nearby. That was almost a little bit of a gift to Aurora, that the formation of Heroic there got a little bit too... That got a little bit too cocky. Look at this. Look where the heroes are. Like, no one is near. And now finally, King J is going to come in. He's not in range. There we go.
Guardian Angel.
He tanked all 5
That is
alone
insane.
for 10 seconds and didn't die.
That is what we call gladiator mode.
How is that a thing? Oh my god, man. Oh boy. And
They
with those
did
2
kill him though,
buybacks,
Cinder, and they did vanquish the dragon.
Yeah.
At long last.
they got him.
The cost was quite heavy.
I'm really surprised nobody's all chatting worth after that kill. That's what it feels
So
like.
it
Well,
was a
both
3
support
for 1,
buybacks.
but then the 2 buybacks just
Yeah.
make it that much worse for Aurora.
It gives a very easy path to victory now for Heroic, because I genuinely think Dragon Knight is absolutely unkillable if they kill Phoenix. I think Ollie is doing about half the damage Dragon Knight is taking with Sunray.
Yeah.
So if they somehow kill the Phoenix, he's out of play for about a minute with that buyback penalty. And I mean, not just that, they also have to deal with the Aegis. Like, how are they possibly killing him twice? They can't even kill him once 5v1 with Corona. So,
Dire's middle tower.
I wonder if they even give him the Aegis, or if they put it on the puck.
Well, he is the one sieging, to be fair.
Yeah, well, they will put it on him. He did backpack his treads. I mean, yes.
I think it's still correct.
Yeah, I can't blame them for this choice, right? They're just going to put him in the front line. He's going to hit tower and be like, hey, guys, are you going to do something about this or what?
Dire's structures
Until
are
Tusk has his Ags, I think that's the main way they can reliably separate the fight. Will be that. Now he also
that
has
far.
AC. Okay. All right.
Dire's top
Well,
tower
AC,
has
good.
fallen.
We've been talking a lot about the Dragon Knight, but some games are literally just like, they are also making it about Dragon Knight.
This is true.
Puck as well as Schofield
Radiant
on the
are
Willow.
scanning.
Maybe, I think they didn't see them there. That could have been a really good entry into the fight. If they could have found a coil there on Visage +1, but Aurora barely get out.
23
To the
Savage
side.
with an important item. The panel was discussing this as well. The Nullifier
Yep.
is online. So it takes off Aphotic Shield, takes off Guardian Angel, not Repel though.
Yep.
So the order really matters.
But it feels like a necessity, right? Because
Oh,
the
yeah.
last time when they almost killed him, he got GA'd.
Yep.
And that would have not happened if he had the Nullifier, so that it will be an option this time. The thing is, when Void goes this build, I don't know if he has the mana for Refresher until he also has a Skadi. And it does seem like if Aurora want to ultimately win this game, I think they need 2 Chronos.
Dire
So
are
there's
scanning.
obviously a very long way there when Nullifier is a required purchase along the way instead of going straight Skadi.
Hey,
Refresh.
they have Waller's Kick.
Okay.
They have it.
Yeah, he must have sold something, right?
Are fortified.
Or did he find the gold?
Dire's
Not sure.
We'll see if they kick him in. This is the Dragon form life, so if they can kick him into the tier 4s, kill him there, and then you want a Dragon form, that will be something.
Yep, here we go. There's the kick into the base. Nullifier applied his own. He pops the BKB. Now he's Walrus punched into the air. Half HP. He's stuck
Satanic.
inside the charge, but there's Satanic keeping him alive. The Terror is on top of 23 Savage with the BKB. They have the damage. Life number 1 is dead. He does not have Dragon form when he's back. And finally, the Chronosphere comes out. 23 Savage will get King J to start things out. And the DK still all alone, close to the fountain. They vanquish the dragon again. Aurora
And
showing
23
signs of
survives?
life. 23 Savage actually will not be going down here. And Schofield will eventually tick away. Double kill for Jabs. An incredible defense from Aurora. And that, well, that's the reveal of the Walrus
Tusk
kick.
Ags. It was the one thing that could save them, and they got it just when they needed it. I genuinely could not have imagined any better way of setting that fight up. They get the kick into the tier 4s. They start fighting the Dragon Knight in there. He pops everything to stay alive. And then they get the 2-man Chrono on Omni +1. They nullify him, kill him instantly. And GA is never used. So really, really nice fight from Aurora that will mainly just buy them some time. Because this Dragon Knight can't get much bigger. So if they can do this once more over, they might just have turned the game around entirely.
Yeah, this would be an incredible turnaround. And Matt, Jabs is so farmed. He has a sheep now on top of everything else. So another way to control the Dragon Knight if he missteps just a bit. And I'm sure Hector is begging his butlers to build him a Lincoln's or something now.
Well, Devi is working on an Axe. So then they can also get that heal.
Yeah, but with the Nullifier, it's not really going to, unless he's already repelled, or if he has time to BKB, then it's not going to do that much.
I really want... He's queuing up a Silver Edge now. I guess maybe his plan B now is to try to find kills on the side lanes to enable the push. Now, this hold from Aurora is really big in that, first of all, that was very likely a second lane of barracks for Heroic if they hadn't lined everything up perfectly. But also, it gives them the hope of reaching a point where they can just overwhelm, mainly with the Void plus Phoenix. When Phoenix gets Refresher, ultimately it's far away. He's not even queuing it, actually. He's going for Solar Crest, which I don't know if that's the right choice here, just beefing up your Void even further, but Dragon Knight will not continue to scale indefinitely.
Right,
And you
but
have so much room.
they do have more tools at their disposal soon. We talked about the Omni Knight and the item progression for him. He is choosing to go for Blink Dagger,
Yeah,
it looks
good
like, to get
choice.
closer to be able to repel. And then also with the Abaddon, the Aghanim Scepter, if he can get close enough to activate his ult, that will mitigate a ton of damage as well.
As long as he's getting hit.
Yes, well, no, anytime an ally takes more than 550 damage within Abaddon's range, Miscoil will
Yeah,
apply to them.
but can he reliably get close enough?
Yeah, that's
for
the
this?
question. That is the
It's
question.
like, as long as the guy's getting hit close to him, 900... Okay, 900 range is enough. Like, it doesn't matter how perfectly you place Crown. 900 range is longer than I actually thought it was. I thought it was like 600. Yeah, that's fine. He'll just...
Dire's top tower
You're right.
is under
When they go on a DK, Bandit's just going to walk next to him with Ags. Maybe healing reduction in the cards for this? Potentially. They need to be able to maintain it, though, and not get it dispelled. That's the tricky part. Could be the type of situation where...
Yeah,
I mean,
they do have the Shivas. Scotty is coming for 23
yeah,
Savage.
Scotty will be a big help. Do you want to dip more into anti-healing than that, though? I don't think so. I think you just rely on that. They have the Shiva, too. So, yeah. Shiva plus Scotty should cut it.
Well, this game is pretty damn even.
And you can tell Heroic the way they're moving around the map now.
Yeah, they're actually playing Dota again.
This changed. Something changed there in the mindset after that failed attempt. They will obviously be aiming for the next Roche. There's no doubt about it. They will never siege without it against the Faceless Void Tusk combo. The next one, early respawn is in 1.5 minutes, so that's even more time for the Radiant to keep building up. Void with a completed Scotty is now looking at that refresher. And I do think if 23 gets to this refresher before they get mega'd, I think the worst part is over for Aurora as long as he doesn't get caught without buyback.
Right.
Like, this refresher is a total game changer. It gives them so much more freedom to go for those kills. It allows him to throw the first chrono on someone else, then Dragon Knight, and just kill them off and then build a fight out of it.
That's still a lot of gold away. Still have to buy the entire refresher and have enough for buyback.
Barrier. Shield rune available. Analog is kind of baiting it. They're
Yeah.
baiting Lorna. He's not falling for it.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness.
Very smart.
Good read there. He'll
Lornoff
just-
getting pretty close to 25.
Yeah.
Any 25 talents that you think are super impactful?
Is the Void... Technically, the Void Chrono AoE one could keep Abaddon out of range.
Yeah.
If he has one guy on one edge of it and Abaddon on the other, but, like, come on, you know? He's probably just taking back.
Yeah, backtrack is more...
I mean, Storm is more damage. More damage is good here. It's the main limiting factor for Aurora is can you kill the big boy or not? But those are the two that are close by, right? Nobody else is even remotely close to 25. Dragon Knight already has it, and he took the armor and regen. He has 55 armor. 56 armor.
Ah. That's a nice hefty amount.
It's a lot of armor. And he has the Ogre Seal Totem, which I actually think could play a really important role here.
Yeah, the ice shards have been really annoying.
The Ice Shards, the kickback. If he finds a way to reposition himself and somehow disrupt Aurora's combo once, that could just make or break the entire game. So I really like this choice from Actor to go for that.
Game has certainly slowed down quite a bit since that last engagement.
Now, is somebody else going to pick up the pace on Heroic? Like, can they find a way to rebuild this so they're not fully reliant on Dragon Knight to kill the heroes? Puck is a massive late gamer when it gets big enough. Going for the Lincolns currently is Analog, but of course can reach a point of critical mass with tons of damage in the coil. The Willow could technically aim for Axe Moonshard, but is going for a Hex right now. Get a little bit of a kickback on Vi.
Yeah,
That's
he's in
his
a bit of
ult.
trouble. His ult finally activates, but he is really low. Trying to run away now as the Terrorize being faked out. There's the big zit from Lornoff, not able to finish it though. So the Vi gets away. Waning Rift now. More annoyances from this Puck. By the way, what is this silver edge for? Is this for the Graveskeeper's cloak? To get a quick kill on the Visage? I mean, it has a lot of auras.
I think it might also it might also be a way of killing it. You can break backtrack, right? Yeah. So it does give
For
him
the
more
25 talent, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
break Void's 25 talent if he's planning for that, if he thinks the game is going that direction. It gives him a way of catching heroes on the side lanes.
This is big, though, for Aurora. Aegis, Refresher Shard. 23 Savage, he uses the Chronosphere. It's going to clip the Dark Willow, but the Shadow Realm was already used. Schofield will end up dying, but that's a big ultimate down.
Oh, they have this.
There's the Dragon Tail with the instant Hex onto Hector, but he's going to pop his BKB. The Sunray doing a lot of work, but he's going to pop his BKB, back taking any damage. There's the Chronosphere for 23 Savage. Number 2, thanks to the Refresher Shard. Making good use of it, but a big terrorize to delay things as much as possible. And look at the Satanic going to work, but the Walrus kick away, and K1 Hector looks to be dead in the water. That is a big kill for Aurora, and they still maintain Aegis. As I say that, they use it instantly, but Divine Llama trying to keep his puck alive. Lornoff. It's a surround tactics onto Analog. He gets inside the tree line, has Illusory Orb soon, blinks away to safety. Divine Llama, though, no ult to work with now. Eventually Sheepstick, and he will be brought to his knees. So 2 kills, and 2 very important kills for Aurora. Well, technically it was 4, I guess. They bought back on 2.
Yeah, this Tusk is doing so much for them. If Aurora managed to make it to top 8, this Tusk has really, I think, for me, been the most impactful hero in game both 2 and 3 here. Q is doing so much with these kickbacks, with the kick away. Like, even just, it's just like, okay, this fight's going pretty well. Let me just kick Dragon Knight out of it. And we just focus on other things. He's buying so much time, and you could tell Heroic know this. They went for the kill on him very first. But with that buyback and the teleport location that they were fighting in with the Twin Gate, he could easily connect down to the outpost.
Yep, and they got a Roche banner, so they got all the creeps they can work with. They're actually going to try to go for Throne here. 30 seconds of no buyback here on the Dragon Knight.
Whoa,
Here
Heroic
for
are
number
not
1
anywhere
is
near
down.
right
Are they
now.
actually just going to win this game right here, right now? First crown on 23 Savage. They don't have much of a defense to work with on Heroic. They're about to be eliminated from TI. Coil on the back lines on the 2 with 23 Savage, and Lornoff and company still focusing on the throne. KJ gets nullified. He's used to the Ancient. It's actually done. Aurora wins this absolute thriller game number 3. They will move on through TI. Heroic, unfortunately, eliminated.